are some tools. You're still here? Well then, it's best to read on, as you have demonstrated that you are the person to finish this book, the one I have been waiting for. Before we proceed, there are some tools that you must acquire. You're going to need them to complete the tasks in this book. You must have a journal, a pair of scissors, some glue, a stapler, a needle and thread, optional, a digital camera, optional, a good eye, a courageous spirit. Collect these items and place them next to you. You may wish to take a photo of them for documentation purposes, and to leave a trail for others in case you are unable to complete your task. So now that I have decorated the page and I have collected all of my tools, it's actually got me thinking about my own art supplies. So what I'm going to do is an art supply tour. If that's something that doesn't interest you, then don't worry. This is the last bit of this book I'm going to do for this video, so I will just see you next time for those who are sticking around. Welcome to the art supply section of this video. I am sorry that the lighting is going to be absolutely horrible, but we're just going to power through. This is where I'm just going to go through all of my supplies. So I know it says gather your supplies, but it's sometimes nice to take stock of what you have available to you, and I quite like watching art room tours. Unfortunately, I don't have a full art room, but I have an art section of a room, so this is going to have to do. So starting from the top here, we have this nice butterfly cabinet, mini cabinet thing. On top of there, I have 2 pots of pens. I have one for all of my markers and my dupe pens, which are like Posca pens. And one for all my colouring pens, coloured fine liners and coloured pencils. That is just so that if I want to add some colour into something, I can go and grab that easy. On top of it, I also have a corner cutter and some boxes that I have decorated on this channel before, some of my old videos. And I also just have this, which was from an old candle, but it still smells really nice, so I still occasionally smell it. Decorating the drawers, we have this Eiffel Tower with 3 umbrellas, which I got in Paris, and I really love it. In the drawers, we have some erasers and sharpeners. I also have my ink and my ink block. In here I have some wax and some stamps for sealing envelopes when they're £10. I've also got some clips and some boxes of buttons, just little bits and bobs for decorating things. In here I keep my glue. I've got some Tipp-Ex, some Tertullians? No. What are the word for these? Blendy paper things. Some extra staples. It's just bits and bobs really. In here I have my spare watercolour and Derwent Inktense sets. These are the ones that I don't use too often, or they're replacements, so they are in this drawer. I just got this one as a treat to myself for being in isolation. I've also got 3 of these Viviva sheets, and I have one which is already in use. And then here I have some charcoal, which I do like using, but I don't use very often. Oh, that was polite. And in this drawer I have stamps and stickers. This drawer is just filled with junk. Everything else that doesn't fit anywhere else. So I've got a pack of spare pens, some labels, some bigger pots of glue, a Ravenclaw symbol. This is where I keep my sharpener, some jute string, just everything that's a bit bigger for the other drawers. Switching off to the side here, oh, I'm sorry about that light. I have my pot of pens and pencils here. These are my sketching pencils and fine liners, and these are anything that is grey, black or white. I also have some watercolour paper here in ATC size. And then I have my go-to watercolour sets. So I have the Derwent travel set. I have a not the Derwent, Dillon Rowney travel set. I have the Derwent Inktense set, and I have my ongoing Viva watercolour sheet. And this box is just decorated with some pins and a clip there, the dragonfly clip. I also have this tin here in which I've made my own watercolours, and I made them from the Van Gogh watercolours that you got in the upgrade box. So here is my pencil case, and this is where I keep all of my basics. So I've got my kneaded eraser, fine liners, a white pen, some glue, pencil for sketching, and then I'll usually grab one of my watercolour sets and then some other colours to take depending on what I'm working on, what mood I'm in, all that sort of thing. Coming onto the first shelf, I have the extra supplies that I don't grab every day. So I have some oil pastels that my friend gifted me. I have some dry pastels that I got in a Scrawler box, and I have a spare set of the Aquafine gouache set from the Scrawler box. Here are a couple of things I decorated from just junk materials, and I think it was an old jewellery box. And that is guarding my ink sets, and I've not actually used that too much. I need to use that a bit more, I think. Over here we have my gouaches. I've got some cheap gouaches in here, and I've got my Aquafines that I have opened. This pencil case holds all of my painting supplies, so I've got brushes in there, I've got water brushes and palette knives. And underneath that I have some washi tapes. I did used to have a bigger collection of washi tapes, but I did get rid of them. Didn't use them enough. Here I have my favourite art supply, glue stick. I'm always sticking stuff to other stuff. And then I have some blank sketchbooks, some blank scrapbooks, and some watercolour cards, plus a thing that I use. It's just very cheap paper, but it does hold up to quite a bit, so I use it for testing supplies. Heading down to the middle shelf, we have two more things that I decorated out of jewellery boxes here. And then we have some, these are just notepads, writing notepads, and some sketchbooks that I haven't used yet. Here I have a collection of patterned paper that is very large. In this one here I have some magazines. These magazines are mindfulness magazines, but they have a lot of beautiful artwork, so I have kept them, and I'm always cutting out the pictures or using some of the articles for certain things. And up here we have a very old and battered copy of Gone with the Wind. This was actually rescued from a charity shop. It was going to be recycled because it had pages missing already and all that sort of stuff, but I did save it, and I use it when I want to add some text in the background of something. I'll just rip out a few pages and stick it on. I feel like it's better than just straight up recycling it, because at least it gives it new life. Plus you can also do things like blackout poetry, which I do quite a lot with these pages. Here I just have some more watercolour cards. That's A4, A5 and A6. I have this little box here which is filled with journal cards. So I've got two different sizes there. I've also got the cards from a game called Dixit, which are art cards, but I never played the game, so I got rid of the game but kept the art cards. And I've just got some note cards with envelopes there. Oh, Wonderland themed. Here is my basket of stuff. This is what I do with all of the gift cards that I collect. There's newspaper clippings, magazine cuttings, there's paper packs that are small enough to fit in here, there's everything. And I just sometimes go and grab things and then take inspiration from it, or sometimes I'll be looking for a certain aesthetic, like a vintage look, and I can go through and search and pick out a few things. Down here is the Complete Human Body. I bought this from a charity shop for like £4, and I thought it was going to help me with anatomy. It hasn't yet, but I still have hope. The last shelf down here is pretty simple. I've got a basket of spare journals and papers, things like that. I have some art paper A3 size, and here is a mess of journals that I've started but I'm not actively working on. I've also got some smash books there that are for a specific purpose. So I've got one for pen paling that I update every few months, and one for any shows that I go and see. I've also got a journal that I just use for birthdays. So I keep them down there and out of the way. And here is the last corner, the last section. And here's the latest scroller box, which I've opened and tested, but I haven't done anything with yet. I have a baggie of stuff here. This is physical things like letters to decorate. I've got a couple of spare pencil cases in there. Nothing too exciting. Little mini canvases. This is the pencil case that I use when I'm going away for any length of time. I've got a canvas here. I don't really use canvases too often. I probably should. And I've got all of my painting stuff in here. So I've got a ceramic plate that I use for mixing colours, and a board for my oil paints, and what I do with this is put cling film over it. And then in here I have got all of my oil paints and acrylic paints and some gesso. So thanks very much for watching this video. Next time we will be doing the story part 2, and becoming a sleuth, which is the last of the introduction, and then we are on to the secret intelligence training. See you soon.